He would like to speak. There's no way.
Hey, what's up, Josh?
Yo, what's going on?
Not
There's no
much,
way you
man.
would like to speak.
Well, I mean, I figured since we're the only ones in here for now, so before it gets too crazy.
Oh shit! It takes a long time. Let me take a look here. You can hear me well, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm just taking a look at my shit. I mean, not be in my. See, this is going to be all controversial and shit. You know what I mean? People are going to be like, "What the fuck does he talk? What does he mean by what he says about this, The Last of Us 2 being in jeopardy and shit like that, or whatever the case is, or the factions?" People are going to be like, "Well, you fucking hate The Last of Us anyway." Or I always get branded as being as a pony, but then nobody wants to say the shit in my face. I never understand that. I don't understand. Like, people don't want to tell me face to face that I'm a fan bitch, and I'm just it just makes me wonder. I never understood it,
Yeah,
but I do have negative things to say about Sony. I'm not trying to force it though. If there's something negative to be said, then I will say it. You know what I mean? And I think people got me real fucked up if they think that I'm not going to say something bad about a company. For the most part, I never had a fucking issue. I don't have too many issues with Sony, so when it arises, then I will complain. But other than that, Hector, what's going on, man? How are you?
not much, man. Just chilling. Beautiful Saturday afternoon playing Horizon.
Oh,
I just beat the game.
what state are you in?
California.
It's beautiful over there because it's rainy over here. It
Yeah.
sucks ass over in New Jersey. That shit is trash.
So yeah, no, it was raining for a couple of days here too. But yeah, it's pretty sunny right now.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the heat. I need all of the heat, all of the heat for real. Like, I'm a beach person.
Yeah, I know you like going out to Florida a lot, huh?
Yeah, I believe the 19th I'll be going to Florida again.
Oh,
I'm really
nice.
thinking about. I really think that I'm going to move there. Actually, a customer actually it's knocking some sense in my head. You know what I mean? Like, all my closest friends are
Yeah.
not very close to me physically. you know,
Are you originally from Jersey
I
or are you from Florida?
no, I'm born and raised in New Jersey, man.
Oh, dang. All right. Cool.
So I mean,
You just never got acclimated to the weather or what?
I never been. I was supposed to go to California, but like uh, all the shit that's going on in California, man. I mean, people may know me as, I guess, people consider me being conservative. They were just too many mask mandates and vaccines and cars. I'm like, nah, I'm good. So
No,
I wasn't feeling that.
yeah, no, I get it. Man. I get it. It's this state has gone to shit, to be honest. Like with the whole COVID and them being so strict, but then again, the representatives of California, they had their kids going to private schools, and while the public school systems, the kids they had to do the online school, so it just wasn't fair, and them being so strict with the mask regulations, and my that's why my brother he's actually thinking about moving to Texas because he's had it with California as well too.
And that's not the reason why I want to move to Florida. Don't get it fucked up. But like, I'll tell you this before I start talking about the subjects. But when I was, what was it, back in 2018 slash
Mm,
19 is when I actually decided I think it was 2018. I finally got, I was working for a bank, and then you already know where I work at now. Don't say it, but
Yeah.
like I they would give me money and they were telling me that I was able to fucking, you know, they would pay for the trip.
And
And I was like, well, fuck it. I always wanted to go to, like, okay, so I have to rewind back a little bit further before we begin. And real quick, you already know my favorite game is the old Tomb Raiders, right? And I remember playing Tomb Raider 3, and she went to this place called the Pacific Islands. And
okay.
it was beach settings. I liked Mario, Sunshine, anything beach. I realized that I just consistently would find myself playing in these environments. And Florida, it was a person that I was at the time cool with. I was supposed to room with this person, and things didn't work out. But in terms of the location, Tampa came up. So I was like, if my job's gonna pay for it, fuck it. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna go ahead and go over there. I never been on a plane, like, ever, and I never been out the tri-state area. So I've been to PA, and in New Jersey, and then that was pretty much it for like my whole life at the time. At the time, it was like 30
Yeah.
something years, 34 years. And I go over to there, and I'm like, I can't believe I fucking flew. Not only did I fly on a plane, which I don't even fucking, that ain't even my thing, man. Like, I I don't like that shit. But I get to Florida and I go to a hotel and I'm like, I don't even know anyone here. I don't know any of the fucking the lay of the land. I don't know anything, man. What the fuck was I doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me just make the best of it. And I go on my fucking GPS and I said, where's the nearest beach? And they said it was Clearwater. So I went to Walmart or something, got me some swimming trunks, and decided to head over there. It was like 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. I get there, and I've never seen anything like that shit in my life. It was just like the video games, man. It was white sands. That was the texture of the sand was like flour, and 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 it was white. And you go to the water, and the water was fucking like liquid crystal, man.
Oh wow.
And it wasn't a lot of waves. It was you had to be probably like a quarter mile out into the ocean before it starts to get a little dark under the surface where you can't really see. It was just stupid clear. And I was like, ew. So that's what they call it, clear water. I see. And for every year, I just wanted to go over there, and it kind of shook things up. Like back in New Jersey or just up north, man, people are miserable here. Miserable fucks.
Damn.
Um, and they're not immediately miserable. They're hustle and bustle. They go back and forth. But then when you start getting to, like, when you start talking to the people, they are some sort of artificial nice. And then the longer you talk to them, you realize that they don't really like you or anyone for the matter. You know what I'm saying? That goes for
Right.
female or male or family. Like, people are just super miserable. And I was speaking to a customer, and she told me, she was like, she quit her job and she was selling candles and stuff like that. And she was like, well, I'm going to do what's best for me. You know, I'm going to
Mm.
actually work, quit this job, and go back to what she knows how to do. And she was selling candles. As silly as it sounds, she sold candles.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of am in the same dilemma. I want to move to the South, but like, or Florida, but there's some things that I need to take care of. She was like, are you single? I was like, yeah. She was like, do you have any kids? I was like, nope. You have family? I said, they're a bit scattered, but she said, you have any friends? And I was like, for the longest, I didn't like the people, and I cut everybody off. And in the last 5 years, I started getting new friends. And she was like, how close are you to these people? And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, do you contact them regularly? I'm like, not really. She's like, maybe you can meet new friends. Since you say that the people are nice over there, maybe you can meet them and you can meet a new set of friends, because apparently uh it don't seem like you have a reason to be there.
Yeah.
I was like, huh. She was like, you got to do what's best for you. You know what I'm saying? Um, and do you only live once? You know, just do it. It don't seem like there's anything to kind of make you. What's going on, Chico? That kind of make you want to stay there. And I was like, oh shit. And she's right. And she's right. It wasn't about the Florida thing at that point in time. I mean, I'm just so many fucking fake ass people up north, man. You know what I mean? I deal with it on social media, and I just noticed like most people I'm close to are I'm not near them really. So either way,
Yeah.
um, so we want to directly dive right into these fucking topics here. Let me just take a look here. I got another speaker here. So the news is a little bit dry this week, right? And it's up to me as a person that kind of hosts these spaces slash podcasts to come up with something that's worthwhile to talk about. And I didn't want to talk about the same shit over and over and over again. So, you know, I didn't want to talk about the stuff that people kind of capitalize on, you know, just to get views and shit like that. I always pride myself in unique takes on things or just unique topics in general. And so I started looking around, and if you're a PlayStation fan, you kind of dealt with, you know, you already played your Elden Ring and you played your Horizon Forbidden West and your Sifu and shit like that, right? And, you know, let's just say you don't have a what do you call it? Well, I was going to say backspace. That's not what I want to say. What I want to say, backlog. Yeah, thanks. Say you only got a backlog. Let's say you only got a backlog, right? And you played these games, and now Sony got a lot of shit about releasing their games or showing their games way too early, so they stopped. So they kind of show their games within a quarter, I would say. You know, to kind of keep things, you know, just keep your focus because a lot of shit's going on. It's very us gamers have a very short attention span, and a couple of things came to mind. Uh, where the fuck is Abandon? Just kind of wondering with that, what's going on with that. Um, then I was thinking, like, fuck Abandon. Where the fuck is like factions? Where is that at? You know, what we doing? What we doing here? So that didn't make any sense here, and I was just kind of like thinking, did they really like not say anything for 2 straight years about factions? More importantly, like I was just thinking about different games, but like I'm thinking, like, did they really not say anything and just said we're going to release something? Like they just really just dropped like, okay, something's coming, and then didn't say shit for 2 years. And now I'm like, I started digging into just digging in and figuring out what is going on with factions. It's kind of weird. And I remember they showed a leaked video of factions, and it looked a hell of a lot like what do you call it? It looked just like fucking the original fucking PS3 Last of Us. It's glitchy as hell. It was early, you know, so I get that. But they explicitly said that the undertaking for this shit was so large that they couldn't package it into the game, and it was his own life, and had to make a separate title. But I was like, that's not what the leaked footage looked like. It didn't look like that shit at all. Um, and here's what I'm thinking, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, right? Um, we already know what kind of look forward, but it was early, so I'm not even gonna like shit on them for that one. But with the incentive for Sony to release their games on PC and do a free to play model, you know, games as a service, and they just flat out told you what kind of games as a service that they're doing, and we don't know of a couple of stuff they're doing. And one could assume that they're probably going to have factions too as a games as a service. So now there's a PR look too, because you have a flagship game, regardless of what capacity may come out to the PS or for the PC. You know, so that's going to look bad for them because there's a rabid fan base that doesn't want this to happen. But then, what is so revolutionary for The Last of Us Part 2 that's making them wait 2 whole years. I don't think you understand. 2 years is enough to make a game. So that's already kind of like sussy as hell to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of alarming, really. It's kind of weird to have that. And I'm just like, what the fuck are they doing? So I really do think personally that this is they're trying to find a way to gently let you know. I mean, gently release the news that it's going to be a PC and PlayStation day and day situation. Also, what about the technology? I'm sure because The Last of Us Part Two was released on the PS4, are they going to be held back graphically? Like it's supposed to be, from what we understand, an open world. I shouldn't say open world, like a what do you call it? A battle royale type situation. And if it's a battle royale type situation, I mean, like how original can it be? So I'm thinking you already have the template for battle royale games, so you have to just kind of skew it to your universe. What is going on with The Last of Us Part Two factions? Hector, what you gotta say about this, man? I know you probably won't stay in there too long, but I'm just kind of curious as to what you were saying.
Honestly, I haven't even played the first factions games.
No,
I did. No, I haven't. I did play The Last of Us 2. I did like it. I didn't really care too much for the story. I was in it for
bloody
the
violence.
combat. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I didn't get all worked up like everybody else did with the story. I could have cared. I did like the story, but um, it was I liked it, you know. But yeah, I don't know anything about the factions.
Do you think something's wrong though? Because there's been a lot of talk about like 70% of Naughty Dog actually dipped, or 70% of the project actually dipped. And someone, even though they're a troll for the Xbox side of things, they did mention, they were like, well, how come they keep hiring and it's like no one's, actually being hired? You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody goes there and they're like, nope. I don't know.
I,
It's all speculatory.
yeah, I hear once a project comes to almost to an end that they people do tend to leave as soon as the project is done. Um, but that's my only guess.
I just feel like they're in peril. Like, like if it seems like if they put it on hold to finish The Last of Us Part Two. And if that's the case, then they should have like some sort of groundwork. And if that's the case, what is going on with the game? What do you got to say, Energy Code? Do you keep up with this shit?
Yo, what's up, Gamecast?
Yeah, what's going on?
Not much. Before I get started, did I hear you were coming to Florida, my man?
Yeah, the 19th.
Like, to stay?
No, no, no. I'm thinking about it. Next year, I'm probably going to be. I'm probably going to be
Oh,
there.
that's cool. Yeah, I'm out here as well.
Where you at in Miami?
Nah, I'll DM you. But, it's really, I look at this situation as it pertains to Last of Us factions. And I'll start by saying, like, to me, I'm not really a multiplayer-centric gamer anymore since my daughter was born in 2016, so I'm a single-player guy. And so the absence of it didn't impact me negatively. But I will say that Naughty Dog deserves to be clowned on this in the same vein that Microsoft deserved to be clowned for not shipping Halo with co-op campaign, something historically present in the entire franchise. And even though Last of Us 2 only had one previous iteration in the franchise, holistically speaking, Last of Us 2 shipped an inferior product than its predecessor in the sense that the predecessor had a campaign and a co-op. Now, yes, the campaign was better in every respect, but that's why I said when we evaluate the package holistically, It's an inferior product to its predecessor because it ships with less content. Now, I do think it's a little bit troubling the amount of news, updates, and information that has been put out. So as these Sony ponies clown Xbox, I say you got to keep that same energy when it comes to Last of Us 2 and the absence of factions. As far as why, it's hard to say. Like, your mind, like you mentioned, kind of goes to like development hell. Like, what is the problem? What's happening? Why the complete lack of information? It is all very concerning. Now, if it is in fact true that it was this project that grew beyond their expectations and then it has to be this whole big blown out thing, I mean, sure, that sounds good, and that might be the reality of the situation, but it doesn't change the fact that it's concerning, it's not okay, that it's less than its predecessor, but really the lack of information is most concerning. Now, if I were to take a more optimistic and positive view on why this happens, and I'm gonna, under this premise, I'll assume it's not in development hell, which I think it might be leaning in that direction personally. But maybe Sony realizes how important this project is. It's very clear with the purchase of Bungie and that new studio, Havoc or whatever the hell is, Hazley, I don't know what the hell it's called, the new studio that's never made a game that they've crafted specifically for multiplayer games. We now know Sony has 10 live service games currently in development. We can see that Sony is making an initiative and push towards online. And what better property to do it with after having shipped the most awarded game, I believe, in history, in the form of Last of Us 2. So maybe with this PS Plus Premium rollout, maybe with it's a good way to withhold that game and information that pertains to that game to more closely align with the PS Plus Premium rollout. Because once again, there is no better way than to incentivize people to go PS Plus Premium route in the event that Last of Us Factions 2 will be offered as part of PS Plus Premium service, in addition to selling it for $60 in store. So like I said, if I were to take a more optimistic approach, maybe they're using this as a tent pole in really making this service take off. But outside of that, it's either in development hell or they're trying to push this to really market something else. But I'm at a loss as to why we've seen Returnal have, a multiplayer pushed out. We've seen Ghost of Tsushima have a multiplayer pushed out. And here we're in media blackout as it pertains to this. And shame on them, and shame on Halo. And I want us to keep the same energy and hold both of them equally accountable.
You said a lot. And before I go on, Aleem215, what's going on, bro? On the YouTubes. What's going on, Stranded Ninja? I didn't want to make you feel like I'm not seeing you. So I actually do want to kind of tackle a couple of different things. You mentioned about The Last of Us being an inferior product based off of have the first game having multiplayer, and then the second one not having multiplayer.
Well, Gamecats, I want to be clear though. I only say it's inferior in the sense that it shipped less content. Nothing else. I'm not saying the game is.
Oh no. We've had this conversation a little bit before on one of your spaces. That's not really what I'm saying. You're saying based off of the numbers, you release something with missing content from its predecessor, then yeah, it would be technically inferior. What's going on? We are, or are we? Are we? I'm always getting this shit fucked up. Are we? Are we champs? What's going on, man? He fell out. What happened? Oh, he has to go back in. That's probably what's going to happen. PlayStation has a lot of flagship type titles, right? Um, it is not just The Last of Us. The Last of Us is one of the many titles that are the flagship titles. Now, although you're saying that it released an inferior product in terms of the amount of content, which can be subjective because you still have a more meaty single player experience. It is longer than the first game, so and it has more content in general, more move sets. A lot of different things are going on in this game versus the first game. So it's like, where were their resources? So was it allocated to just a bigger single player? Or how do you quantify more or less if the multiplayer aspect has been basically translated into a single player experience? What I will say, because the multiplayer wasn't really, I see, I can't even say that. I don't have enough proof to substantiate this. Let me see what's going on with VR. Let me put them back in here. What's going on, champ? So on one side of the fence, I get what you're saying, but I will say they are not equal because every single Halo had a multiplayer content, and there are many different ones. And because of the lack of titles that or IPs that Microsoft created, this is their flagship. This is the Mario to their console. This is the face of Xbox. So not releasing it, and it wasn't just it. From my understanding, it wasn't just well, they had two different ones. They had no co-op, and they were missing things. So the stuff that they released, it was just one biome when they said it was going to be many. You know what I'm saying? So it was just, but to me, when I look at it, it's an incomplete. I'm not going to sit there and say that Game Pass is the reason for this particular issue. I don't say that it's Game Pass that did that. I say there was poor direction in general altogether. They were having people. It was a rotating door when it came to 343 Studios. You know, so they had a lot of issues going on for whatever reason. I don't think that it was a Game Pass situation. I just think that it was poor management. But when you have a flagship title and you have a history of having all of this stuff there, not just one game, but a lot of them. You have what was it, 8 Halo games, and like this is the only one that doesn't have like a full-fledged all of its components. It just seems kind of weird and it seems mismanaged.
I agree, and shame on them.
They're not, but so my whole thing is it's not equal, and there's a lot of different things. Like when you say keep the same energy, there's no way for them to keep the same energy because it's not an equal situation. The Last of Us is still a new IP. The Last of Us is really based off of single player. So multiplayer was kind of like thrown in there. You know what I'm saying? This one, Halo was always designed for a multiplayer experience with single player basically adding to it with the co-op.
And that's why I try to make a clear distinction that, while Last of Us does not have the history of the franchise that Halo does, so obviously the blow wasn't as significant. It still, in my mind is missing a critical piece to people. But no, I'm not trying to say it's as detrimental, being that Halo has the vast history that it does, but it is fair game.
It is a huge fucking problem for them. Like it's massive.
No, I agree.
It's not for the last. I mean, not for Halo, for the Naughty Dog. They're not known to have these problems. It's strange, and I'm not condoning it. This is why I'm going to talk about it. I mean, I feel like people kind of swept this shit under the rug. Not only did they have a lot of political issues political issues with the game. People were pissed about what ended up happening with the game because it's like, all right, so we want to make a title with one character and then we want to kill him. Okay. You want to kill him in the worst way possible, and it just was, there's a lot of different layers. Me personally, I still think in terms of story, not because of Joel, but in terms of story, it is the first one is much better. Let me see what's going on here. It looks like somebody's trying to join in and can't. And I don't know why. Hold on. Audio turns off when I become a speaker. I'll stay a listener. Did you unmute? Or maybe use speaker phone. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah, that's so. Yeah,
I'm not trying to say it's a one-to-one comparison because obviously, as I said, the history of the Halo franchise is much more vast. But
yeah, but you said that they should get the same. They should get the same shit though.
I said we should keep the energy because, and that doesn't necessarily mean equivalent. So I'll clarify. That we should keep the same energy in the sense that Naughty Dog should have been criticized, and there wasn't a whole lot of discourse around that, as you said yourself. You know, all the discourse was around people's dissatisfaction with, social justice, this and the way Joel went out. But there was very little discourse, if at all, on the absence of it being criticized. And then I'm glad that you're hosting this space and examining it in multiple facets, because once again, they should have received criticism. Not only should they have received criticism for the lack of inclusion of the mode, but the lack of information, keeping people in the dark for 2 years. It's not okay.
What's going on, Jemiah? Sorry, go on. I feel like the amount of hate that they've gotten, a couple of different things, which is to me interesting. Hold on for a minute. All right, champ, can you unmute it or can you hear me? All right.
I use a freaking.
I was like,
bro, I'm using a freaking VPN and it doesn't let me when I use a VPN, so I have to deactivate it. My bad.
Oh, so that's a Twitter thing. I'm pretty sure of that.
Sorry about that.
I'm pretty sure. No, you're cool. You're cool. I didn't want you to think that I'm doing shit, behind the scenes. I'm not that smart in that aspect. I don't know how to do that shit. Yeah. People be like, what the hell? But no, what we're talking about now currently is the state of The Last of Us. Now, if anybody knows me, I did not like The Last of Us for many reasons. And I stopped liking Naughty Dog for many reasons. Actually, let me go before The Last of Us. I didn't like the fact that they turned from like a kind of like a lighthearted studio to this studio that just made games that I didn't know Naughty Dog for, They
grew up with you, Gamecast.
Well, I don't really subscribe to that statement. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I get the whole, because what's the excuse for Insomniac? You know what I'm saying? Insomniac is still making Ratchet and Clank games. If anything, it's even more lighthearted than what it used to be, and they're still able to make a Spider-Man, and they're making a Wolverine on top of it, which is even more mature. So to me, I feel like the original people that had something to do with the Jack and Daxter series, they weren't there, and the people didn't feel like making them, and it wasn't selling that well. You know what I'm saying? Enough for people to just kind of jump on. But in terms of shared game,
I was gonna say, wasn't there like a rumor that when the PS3 came out, they were gonna like try to make it a more adult Jack and Daxter or something like that? And then they just switched it to I think Uncharted or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they were going to make a realistic. I think Evan Wells said that shit. They had art that shows that Daxter looking like a real ass squirrel and shit, and just like it did. I wasn't a fan of that shit at all.
No,
but like I was like, sir, no.
I have to imagine Gamecast because the rumor that was mentioned, they did show some concept art, and I know this is subjective and to each his own, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as the the PlayStation audience has been loyal for decades now, and the audience continues to age. I think that really Naughty Dog started producing content for their aging adult audience, who, when they were making those Jack and Daxter games, were adolescents, middle school age, and who are now in their 30s. So over the time, and that's kind of like, and this is a very subjective statement, but that's like my biggest criticism with Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts first came out when I was in middle school. The sequel came out towards the end of my high school year. And the next game came out, I was like 30 years old almost. And I'm like, what the hell, man? I'm still playing Mickey Mouse. And even when you look at like Ratchet and Clank 2016, I really enjoyed Ratchet and Clank 2016. And then here we are, 6 years later, and I'm playing Ratchet and Clank 2022, and I'm like, wow, the magic's not there anymore. And I find, and like, once again, this is subjective. As I've gotten older, the appeal for those types of games has dwindled. I'm not saying it's gone, because I enjoy the shit out of Kirby with my daughter. But as I get older, my taste has matured, and those lighthearted games don't have the same magic for me. And I'm sure that they take their demographic, which is an aged audience that has been with PlayStation now for 2 decades plus, since 95, I guess, and are probably producing content to appeal to the age range and demographic of their people.
So let me say this. So let me say this, and I wanted to let Champ get into it. I was trying to keep him up to speed because he had to be back and forth bouncing in. In terms of like I said before, what they ended up doing from Crash Bandicoot, which to me Crash Bandicoot was more timeless than Jack and Daxter. Like their art style, and I know why. Oop, there's another requester. Let's see what this is. I know why that they couldn't do it. They just couldn't keep Crash because Universal Studios they couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. And then and they didn't want, and Activision didn't want to let them go as well. So fine, whatever. They made Jack and Daxter, and I will say this, and people will be like, "How dare you say such things?" I always felt that Naughty Dog games, up until Uncharted, was very cookie cutter and just like by the numbers, but their technical prowess was bar none. You know what I'm saying? And I was okay with that back in PlayStation 2 days. You just couldn't get an open world platformer like that. You know what I'm saying? That ran at 60 frames a second with a day and night cycle. That was like unheard of. And I got it. So it was never anything to write home about in terms of story, but mechanically it was sound. And I get that portion too. But like when they started moving to these cinematic experiences, I couldn't. To me, I was like, well, where's the fucking freeform gameplay that I know Naughty Dog for? You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to take the cookie cutter shit so long as you give me that. And I was like, okay. So when they made Uncharted 1, I was like, maybe it's just because they had to get a grasp of the cell processor, and it was difficult to do. And then they made like The Last of Us, which was more freeform than Uncharted, minus the jump button. And they had one of the most adult themed storylines that you could have. And I would have taken both. I would have taken the Jack and Daxter series as well as the Last of Us thing here. But if anybody knows me, I do not like The Last of Us Part 2. I think their story is all over the place. Like minus the Joel. Just in general, I just don't like how they structured the story. I don't like some of the themes that they put in there. I'm not a big fan of revenge stories in that regard. I feel like it was a very style over substance type game. You know what I'm saying? And I was just not a fan of it. And then because they did the Uncharted games in terms of multiplayer, they made a more serious multiplayer, which was very reminiscent to Gears of War with the violence and stuff like that. And it became its own thing. It was very, very good. But as you said before, like you mentioned, the feeling wasn't there for Ratchet and Clank. I could still play a kitty ass game. I mean, I'm sorry that you can't, but I certainly can, and have the same kind of magic. Like a Mario game coming out or Mario Kart. Sometimes I don't want to deal with all the stereo shit, yo. I don't give a fuck what it is. Like as long as the art style is sound and the mechanics are sound, I don't give a fuck what it is. Shit, I can still watch kid fucking programming. Act like I can't watch like one of them fucking kid ass movies or the old Pokemon animes and shit like that. None of them shits were like adult themed. I don't care about that. No.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Also, Ratchet and Clank was actually in the vein of what do you call that shit again? Futurama. It was never supposed to be a kid's game. There had some adult themes in that shit blatantly. And that was retconned to fit the kid demographic with this new game. And for the 2018 or 16, whatever the fuck it was.
Like some of the titles are like that, like Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal. Come on, bro. Those are like,
that's why they did it.
Adult little humors. Kids don't catch that.
Yeah, and it was always a Futurama type situation. It's one of the reasons why Ratchet and Clank actually survived as long as it did is because it really wasn't for kids like that until this one new movie came out or game, and it was just like, let's be friends. Don't do this to me, Rivet, please. And as a matter of fact, I even dubbed it. This is what it should have been. If it was the old Naughty Dog, right? I mean, old Insomniac, they would have called this game Rivet and Clit.
Damn.
So, but whatever. I get it. You need to make money. You need to make it kids, just like Venom and the Venom movies should be rated should be rated R. But it's not. I mean, why would a badass like if they would have made a spinoff, it'd be like they would have had the fucking horns and the epic superhero music that you can get in the Marvel movies. Rivet and Clit. I'm like, all right.
Well, I have a question. So, do you feel like with that change of direction, okay, let's say they kept making Jack and Daxter, and that would have been cool. It would have been decent. But I feel like when Uncharted came out, it kind of set a standard for this blockbuster kind of like genre, if you will, to like everyone, not everyone, but a lot of different games start to kind of bite off of it, like trying to like make that kind of game that's almost like a movie-esque game. And so like I don't know if it was Sony's idea overall or Naughty Dog, like, hey, let's keep doing this. But it's just like they're like the staple or the standard, if you will, of this blockbuster kind of experience where it's just over the top, like Michael Bay style explosions and all of this great acting and mocap and all of this. Like it's like a merger between the two genres, if you will. But I feel like Naughty Dog, when they hit Uncharted, they kind of became like, I don't know what analogy I would use, but everyone kind of started to like look at them as the standard of those type of games. And so maybe by force,
trendsetter.
Yeah, they set the trend, and maybe by force or not like actual force, but maybe they were like, well, we can't go back to Jack and Daxter now. I mean, unless they split into maybe 3 teams, like one's working on Uncharted, the other one Last of Us, so I don't know, like maybe they just set their focus on that kind of style, which I like Jack and Daxter. I liked it just as much as I did with Ratchet and Clank, but maybe like their own expertise kind of put them in that box to continue making those kind of games. They're kind of, I don't know, stuck there now, but I don't know. I haven't really kept up with Naughty Dog.
It's the money. It's the money that did it, man. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, Sony actually told Naughty Dog when they showed. All right, so what Uncharted looked like, the pitch that they had for Uncharted, it kind of looked like what do you call that fucking
Tomb Raider? Indiana Jones?
No. That fucking Disney cartoon with the jungle dude. What the fuck? What the fuck is it?
George of the Jungle? No,
I guess it was Tarzan? It was Tarzan. I guess Sorry, my bad. It was like Tarzan. Their art style was like Tarzan. And Sony said, "I ain't spend $4 billion for you to make a cartoon game. I'm gonna need you to add wrinkles and shit and pores." So they went back to the drawing board and worked on their technology to make the Uncharted that we know of. And I remember the set pieces for Uncharted, and this is what Evan Wells and some other people that left Naughty Dog was saying. In the first game, there was a part where it was a van that got stuck in between like a crevice of these two stalagmites or something of that nature, or whatever it is, right? And as Drake was holding on to the edge, he was supposed to shoot one of those red barrels, and it would flip the car over, and then allows Drake to shimmy over to the rest of the way, and that kind of set the precedent for set pieces in the game. So they took that shit to a new level when they made, or when they had the what do you call it? The second game. They went off on the fucking set pieces. I don't mind the set pieces. I don't mind having a lighthearted game. You know what I'm saying? But there's some things that people can't talk about nowadays. Like Jack and Dexter had some crazy shit too. Like, Dexter was a pervert. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like a blatant pervert, but he would look at some titties every now and again. That won't fly nowadays. Also, they would have crude jokes. I remember there was a fat guy in Jack 3, and he was like, "Want to beat me high score?" And Dexter was like, "Oh, sure. Oh, we'll beat it." Jack beats things all the time. And then that's when Jack smacked Dexter in his head and shit like that. You just can't do shit like that nowadays. Even when it was Drake, when Drake, he was a womanizer type dude too. So was Sully. And you could kind of see the political turning when they were making Uncharted 3, where they were in Yemen, and if you are LGBT, niggas get killed on spot, over there. They don't fuck with that shit over there. And that's their culture. And they mentioned a couple of different things over there. And they were kind of leaning towards that. Oh, they had Sully and Drake hold each other's hands, just playing around and shit like that. But I mean, I'm just speaking the truth, man. You can't sit there and get mad at me. You can't get mad at me, man. Oh yeah. So thanks, Champ, man. I'm going to save this image. I'm going to retweet it while we're talking here, and then I'm gonna put it in the spaces here.
Yeah. So I had a statement on the Last of Us 2 factions, and I don't know. Like, I guess I haven't seen the latest reports on it and all of that, but from what I quickly Googled, I mean, it looks like that they're trying to make it a free-to-play model, kind of like, I guess, it's standalone kind of deal. And so, like, I don't know if they wanted to include that into the game just at launch. So I don't really know what they're doing with it. I thought it was going to come with the game off the jump, just like the last one. But maybe Sony is looking at the Fortnites of the world and all of that, and looking at how they can make, money for years and years and years and years off of it. With The Last of Us, the original factions, I mean, I don't even remember purchasing anything, maybe a character or some clothing or something, but nothing which, like, if you put, I don't know, if you put Naughty Dog behind a free-to-play model, I don't know, like, maybe the possibilities are endless as far as financial revenue. But maybe they were looking at that, maybe just didn't add it in there just so they can make more money, with the free to play kind of model. I don't know, but I think it was intentional, and maybe they're still just trying to find out ways to, make it Naughty Dog level quality, but also kind of free to play, I guess. So I don't know. I mean, I guess there's a lot
honestly, I wanted to ask too. Ed, Ed, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. What's up?
What you want to say about this? Oh yeah, by the way, I haven't forgot. I'm still thinking about the song that I want to remix from what do you call it? The fuck is that shit? Returnal. So I haven't forgot about that. I just want to clear some things out. But go on. So what you guys say about what you want to say about The Last of Us Part 2 factions? What's going on?
Well, nothing, man. I honestly think, man, it's probably going to be free to play and then offer. I don't think it's in trouble. I think we will see it probably.
Really? 2 years of silence?
So. Yeah, man, it's Naughty Dog, but we know like the outcome is going to be major. And I'm telling you this right now. Everybody was clamoring for it, including myself. Like when Last of Us Part 2 came out, everybody was in an uproar thinking that we were going to get factions or some sort of factions, and they said that they were going to postpone it. And I think, like, if you look at
before The Last of Us Part 2 released, they said this, which is crazy. That was even longer than 2 years. But go on.
Right. No, I'm just saying, like, if you look at like right now, a game that kind of reminds me of what Naughty Dog is probably working on like a level would be a game that's not out yet, but it is called The Day Before. The PC game that's supposed to be dropping,
it's
right?
a PC game, and that's what I was going to say. Yeah, go on, continue. You get me? Yeah. I'm trying to hold back.
No worries.
What I want to say about this shit.
But if you look at like a game like that, and it hasn't dropped yet, but just on the idea of like a multiplayer game where even where it's just not PvP, right? Or you know, if Naughty Dog was to release, just think of like all of the enemies that you have to encounter, as well as like the ideas that they have probably on more enemies, infected or not, or you know, creating your own factions. I think this game is going to be huge. I think it's going to be on a level where it's going to be drawn out. I've said this in many spaces where there's going to be seasons, right? Where you can have like a snow environment for, you know, one season where you can trek with your group. And when I say group, we're not talking just like 4 people. If it's an online game, you know, whatever the limit that they push, you know, there's a lot of FPS games that are trying to push like 64 or even like 128 players. If we'll see that in factions, I don't know, but I think that you'll be able to get a mass amount of people to do like certain missions where it be, you know, if there's raids at the end of this, seasonal drops where you're getting like different environments, even to the point where like Last of Us 2 took place in Seattle. With the map, even if on a global scale, like if they use different areas, like, you know, I hate to like use them right now, but like Ukraine or Russia, you know, you can have a setting in that area where like Chernobyl and shit like that. I'm just saying, like, you could use knowing Naughty Dog and the funding that they have behind them, they could probably do anything. And the crazy thing that got me really thinking about that is like the day before, like if you look at that game looks like The Division meets The Last of Us, right? I love The Division, and one of the coolest features in The Division of one of the DLCs that they dropped on the first one, which I really wish that they would have done for the second one, was the survival mode. And if you ever played that, it's one of the coolest DLCs that I've ever played, where you have to literally take in consideration that you have a virus, right? So you have to craft certain elements to slow that virus down or treat it, right? Not to mention the environment, whether it be like weather, you know, to keep yourself from dying from hypothermia, on top of all these other things, like keeping your body warm and collecting certain things. I just look at it as like they're looking at they said, I think it was Fortnite, like Epic's Fortnite, on how well and how long that they have lasted and like the type of content that they're pushing out equally, like throughout, you know, since they started. I mean, they literally took over the battle royale scene from PUBG, and look at them now, man. They're throwing like concerts. Not that Naughty Dog would do that, but it's just an open source. And when you put into like a
you making my dick hard.
You see where I'm going with this, though, right?
No, continue. I had to interrupt you. I had to interrupt you so it could give that impact. But you continue, please.
No, I'm just saying, like, there's just, I'm still here. There's just a lot, man. And I honestly see it, like, in the conversation of, like, PlayStation throwing out, how many service games are they looking for? Like 10 or 12, right?
10. And Gran Turismo is one of them.
Okay. Like, honestly, and they're saying, like, whatever they throw to the wall and sticks. We can all assume, especially if it's across the board with PC players, and giving them access to play this game, it is going to be major. Like, this game is going to stick around. And this is not even going off of, like, you know, you guys were talking about Jak and Daxter. Like, let's say it's not Naughty Dog that has to make that. To be completely honest with you, I don't know what their plan is, right? But if you look at, like, right now, which is on a quiet front, and I'm surprised nobody in the business is talking about this, but we know that, like, Pixel Opus and Sony Animation is making a game. Like, they're partnering for a game. Now, if you've seen Sony Animation's any of their movies, like Into the Spider-Verse, The Machines versus the Mitchells, or Mitchells versus the Machines, which is a phenomenal movie. If you can, and you look at, like, Sony's IP, this is prime for a studio to collaborate with an animation studio, when you look at those two movies that I just said, and you incorporate them with like a family friendly game like, you know, Jack and Daxter, I mean, we know Team Asobi's not going to do that, but just the IP of Jack and Daxter, you know, if they did a spin-off with Rivet, that'll be Insomniac, of course, but there's a lot of IPs that they can bring from back in. Yeah. You're full for that one. Excuse me. But you can bring a lot of IPs into the forefront to give us like that kind of essence of like Disney Pixar, like we got with Ratchet and Clank. So I think we will get Jack and Daxter. It may not be Naughty Dog that does it, and there's a lot of studios, including ones that can help these developers. I mean, God, all these partners, third-party partners that they have that help with these graphics and the source material to make these games. I mean, like I said, Sony's sitting on some prime real estate, but again, Naughty Dog Factions 2, once that drops, and it will, it is going to be amazing. Are they in trouble because they're being quiet? I don't think so. I think they're just keeping. I think when Naughty Dog does come out and speak, which will probably be at like a very big PlayStation event, because I don't like E3 canceled this year. Everybody wants to know like what's going on with God of War, what's going on with Naughty Dog's projects, and they're not talking just like this one project. Everybody is looking at like the Last of Us TV show. There's even talks of like a remake coming, a director's cut, which they said that they were not done doing director's cuts. You know, the Factions is going to be that one multiplayer that's going to get everything going, and whatever drops next, whether it be Killzone, whether it be Resistance, whether it be SOCOM, there's so much in the pipeline, and Bungie's backing them. So I'm not concerned at all.
So can we all be right at the same time, though? So Energy Code mentions that, you know, it's possible that they may use this game to catapult the new structure for PlayStation Plus, which, I mean, truthfully, I don't believe it needs to be catapulted at all. It already has like about 50 million subscribers. This is just something different. But I do think I do agree with him on this one. And again, this is why, to me, it's not about Sony, it's about the finances. That's very interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? When you look at Sony's finances, you'll see on the PlayStation side of things that most of their money from the whole PlayStation division comes from microtransactions and DLC. So you can clearly see why they chose to go this particular route. I don't think they're going to abandon single-player games. I just think that they're trying to make it a place for all types of gamers, you know, to maximize their output of subscribers, you know, and they got the IPs to do it. So if you ask me about this situation, I truly believe what's happening with this is possibly they're going to start making free-to-play games. I feel like everything you said, Ed, is completely accurate, because there's a lot of like talk about it, and I'm glad that we have these type of discussions so we can have a non-fanboy conversation about like a general concern, not, you know, trying to throw shots at, you know, the different fanboys, but a genuine concern about what's happening. I was literally concerned, you know, as much as I don't kind of like the direction that Naughty Dog is going. I mean, if they're going to do something new and fresh and exciting, I don't give a fuck what it is, because I just want to play games, you know, and I want these games to be high quality. But I do think that the stuff that they're going to do is going to be free to play games, right? To supplement their single player games. Like the single player games are supposed to establish the universe, and then the free to play games or games as a service will continue to kind of have the mindset or mind share, or mindset, I should say, be in the minds of people and continue on with the franchise. And of course, they're looking to make money as well. And it's going to be a part of the tiered service of PlayStation Plus. You know, maybe the whatever other tiers that there is in the game. And I think that we are going to get the game for free, PS4 or PS5 users, right? I also feel like it's going to be on PC day and date, and I feel like they don't know how to break that shit to people. Optically, it make it ugly. And make it ugly optically. And I think that's what they're trying to avoid and don't know how to really say it. That's what I think. It's been 2.5, almost probably 2.5 years since we really gotten that information. So I just feel like this is going to be a very hard pill to explain or to give to everybody, and that's what I think is going on, truthfully. But we can actually move on to the last topic here. And I'm just kind of curious about this too. Now that we're speaking on, well, let's see if anybody has something to say about that. Speak your piece.
No, I was just gonna say that I think you're right. Like it is gonna. My damn dog. Hold on 1 second. My bad. Hold on.
He's fucking tearing somebody the fuck up. Woof, woof, woof.
Yo, I didn't even hear about that game until y'all just dropped that. Sorry. The day before. What the hell?
I saw that before. I saw it before. Like that's why I was saying earlier. It's like,
wow,
it has to be different. And if that game's coming out, it's going to steal a lot of shine. And of course, people are going to make these, comparisons.
Well, it's clearly ripping. Like I don't want to say ripping off, but damn, like, come on, bro. Like, look at it.
No, it is. You're right.
It kind of looks like how he said the Division kind of meets The Last of Us, but the font. Oh, come on, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, right. Like, straight from the Naughty Dog.
They didn't care how they did it either. They was like, "Fuck it. Oh, you ain't going to release nothing? Okay, cool, Naughty Dog. We got you."
Right? They're trying to run with it too before they drop something because it's going to overshadow their game. No, I was just going to say, like, yes, there will be discourse, especially when it drops on PC, which, again, I don't think that is a big issue. But I also think, like, to compensate, right, to make everyone happy, I think what also will drop is a director's cut or that remake that will be only on, Sony platform. You know what I'm saying? So if it gets bundled, like, because it is a free to play game, and it's going to be dropped on PC, I think to not discern anybody, I think we will also get either a director's cut to Last of Us Part 2 or the Last of Us Part 1 remake.
Which will then make everybody happy. I was going to say that shit too. They're going to need to smooth this information over with something positive. That's what I believe wholeheartedly. So they probably trying to get that shit in line where if people start, be all negative about that shit. Oh, come on, Sony, why you releasing games on PC? You don't care about us. So then they'd be like,
and they're gonna be like, here's The Last of Us.
Here's The Last of Us. Here's The Last of Us, either director cut or here's The Last of Us remake. You know what I'm saying? Which is supposed to coincide with. Oh, I shouldn't say supposed to because I don't know this information, but I will say it would be nice to coincide with the HBO special since the HBO special is handling this shit 1-to-1. You know what I'm saying? You got the whole Henry scene, test scene, all the other shit. So it'd be interesting to see how they're going to do it. Maybe they have some exclusivity for the PC or for the PlayStation platform, and they'd be like, "Hey, y'all niggas go." I got time to be here and you're complaining all day.
Yeah, facts. And probably even will drop, I would assume, probably, let's say, I don't know, some cosmetic wise for the Last of Us factions that may have to do with whatever's being re-released. So whether it be like, you can be Tess in Last of Us factions, or you can be Liv, or you know what I'm saying? Like something to make us as PlayStation or PS5 and PS4 platformers.
Mr. White Chocolate, what you got to say about this?
I was just coming into basically that the day before is that an extension to the Last of Us, or is it a completely separate game?
It has no affiliation with The Last of Us.
So it's literally like someone like that meme. Then copy my homework, but change it a little, and so no one knows.
Well, I think we all know.
Basically,
I think we all kind of understood it. I think like they try to beat people to the punch. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think will end up happening. Truthfully, low key, high key, low key, but high key though. It's a rip. So, you know,
but it
and
also has to like technically stand up. Like hold up. You can kind of copy the homework, but if it's crashing and you don't have the servers and all of this, I don't know. Like,
what does it matter if it's a free to play game? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if
it's a free to play.
Early, I think so. It's an early access game, so they're like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll smooth it out later.
Yeah, we'll just load it with microtransactions and it'll be fine.
Yeah, just throw some microtransactions. Some microtransactions at it, you'd be good.
Yo, who is this developer though? What have they done before? Like,
they only make like I don't want to say indie games. Like this is a type of style of game that they've never made before. So something tells me like we ain't gonna see this. And they were talking about that this was supposed to drop summer. I would honestly probably think that we ain't gonna see it till like next year.
If it's going to look, if it's running on UE5, I'm trying to tell you, shout out to Magnificent Black, that Nanite and Lumen, they're about to get that shit popping, man. They're about to get that UE5 going, man. All you gotta do is plug and play, man. It'd be 30 frames a second like a motherfucker, but it'd work.
Man,
it really is copy and paste stuff.
I seen a little bit of it, like maybe about like 4 or 5 months ago, and I don't really have an interest in a lot of Naughty Dog's games anymore since they said that they're not going to make another Jak and Daxter. I was already done with them from that point. But
wait, how many teams do they have? Do they have just 2 teams? One on Uncharted, one on The Last of Us?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 2 teams. Well, actually, no, Uncharted. I don't think Uncharted is even with them. I think that they're getting help.
What the hell?
Yeah, a lot of people left Naughty Dog. That's what I was trying to say. Like, there's some contractors, but this is something else.
Yeah, I came in late. So what exactly is going on with? I don't want you to repeat it because I know everyone's already.
No, we don't know. We don't know. But they did lose like 70% of their workforce and the production, according to Jason Schreier, and their production. I think personally, whatever they had going on with the shakeup of Amy Hennig, maybe some people liked her and they didn't like how she was done dirty and they dipped, or they didn't like the political leaning, or they didn't like the storyline, or it could be a lot of fucking things. But I've always said it when it first happened.
Yeah,
that leak with Joe, I was like, that shit was internal. Somebody was salty,
bro.
And it was like, I'm going to release that shit.
Did y'all do any research on that? Who's direct? Was it Neil Druckmann that was like, yeah, kill him, just like this?
It was supposedly, right? It was that one, that Haley Gross chick, which she's never been good with writing stories anyway, but they hired her. And that's what I mean, like when people try to move, let's be liberal. Let's be liberal.
Bro, just make a good game, damn it.
That's all you got to do is make a good game. But with the stuff that they have to hire people for, like, oh, we don't got that many women over here. Somebody about to fucking take a screenshot and say that they don't hire women. Oh, somebody going to take a screenshot and say there ain't enough Indians in this bitch. Somebody going to take a screenshot and say ain't enough black people. So they're just grabbing people to fuck up. But everybody got their own. Just saying.
But when you start to like push any agenda, because we all have our own beliefs. If you push any agenda over the substance of the writing or the direction, it's always going to overshadow it. Like it's consistent, bro.
Like that bitch, she did it. I know she must have, because Neil Druckmann was influenced by Anita Sarkeesian. She changed the story of the original Last of Us, because originally the virus was only supposed to affect, I think, women.
What?
And he had like a reason for it, because he was really doing a lot of research with cordyceps and stuff. And she was like, "That is so sexist. How dare you?" And he had to change the story up.
To be fair, that could cut, because the virus that creates the clickers, it's based on a real life virus
from ants.
Rainforest. And
it's ants, there's grasshoppers, there's moths, there's a lot of parasites.
It affects all insects and stuff like that. But I do remember reading seeing a documentary about the virus, the real virus, and it does say that it does seem to affect the female species a lot more than it does the male. So that could be where we got the influence from that part of the story.
How is that sexist then?
That would have been actually really cool. I mean, if you really think about, like, I've read a few of the comics, right? And I think they even referenced one to, like, Uncharted 4, which was like the American Girls or something like that, where it actually shows Ellie depicted as being pregnant. So if they would have stuck with that, I think that could have worked, actually, even up to I hate to say it, old girl being stabbed by Ellie, who was pregnant. That shocking moment in the second one. Sorry for spoilers if anybody hasn't played it at this moment.
I have not played it, but
stop playing. But that actually would have been kind of interesting, especially because of Ellie's sexual preference and everything. So that would have worked.
It would have added a lot of layers to the shit, but they were like, I don't want female characters to be a damsel in distress, so you're making women look horrible. And even though shit doesn't work for Naughty Dog or really any entity that
they never played Metroid Prime or fucking Tomb Raider. Come on, bro.
Tomb Raider is a sex icon because they have big titties, so that doesn't work. Metroid was covered the fuck up, so many people didn't know.
She ain't got them big titties no more, man. Ever since the rise of the Tomb Raider, she's been a bit flat chested.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Guys, you can't not. You must avoid the male gaze. Please avoid the male gaze.
Wow.
You can't look because, and then they also was doing some things where they would de-beautify women in the game. So they would add
intentionally.
Mm-hmm. They would add mustaches to women, like a little bit of light, little hair, anything that is feminine. That is looked at as a stereotype. They were like trying to remove that. So like armpit hair was another thing too that they added into the game.
Yeah, because in a post-apocalyptic world, the main cause of concern is armpit hair.
My God. That's crazy. Wow.
But that's neither here or there. I don't even want to get into that before somebody say I'm an incel and beard neck or hair beard neck or whatever the fuck it is that they were saying. And then I don't like women and shit like that. So
no, that's not the case. No. Yeah.
Well, you know what they say these days: if you're not woke, you're broke.
I guess.
And I think that's another issue too, man. I don't think it did well, like sales wise, as well as it could have. I should say. Sales wise, I think they were anticipating one thing and it didn't do well because they showed everybody else's sales and shit like that, like Ghost of Tsushima. They was like, yo, way to go, Japanese motherfucker. You did 6 million and shit. The Japanese love your ass, and then The Last of Us, it was cordyceps crickets. They wasn't saying shit.
Okay, about female protagonists, I probably should save it because I know you got another topic. But Forspoken looks fucking good, bro. Like that game looks pretty lit.
Yes, it does.
Like straight up, Forspoken. I am very excited for that one.
You and me both, mate. You and me both.
It looks. I just like her, like how she navigates, like her combat. It just looks very fluid and different. I don't know. I just want to try it out. It's like see how it feels.
I want to say something to everyone before.
Go ahead.
Before everybody jump on me for saying this shit, right? I am going to go out on a limb and say that I personally love the first 3 seasons, even to this day, of Sailor Moon. Yes, that bitch ass anime. I will watch that shit to this day. I will love it.
There's nothing wrong with that, bro.
Well, I know. If you like Sailor Moon, mate, I recommend you go watch Kumi 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 Bear.
I'm gonna try that shit. Yo, DM that. It's probably some fuck shit, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what Kumi. But here's the thing: it better not be no yaoi either. Yo, chill.
No, it's literally just about same as Power. Imagine like a more grown up version of Powerpuff Girls, mate. Only they use animals rather than superpowers.
Like even Gravity Rush was very Sailor Moon-esque. And most people be like, "How dare you?" Motherfuckers get all pissy. How could you say such a thing?
I like Gravity Rush, actually.
I like Gravity Rush too, but people will look at me and be like, "How dare you say such thing?" Hey, White Chocolate, can you do me a favor?
Yep.
Could you say literally?
Literally.
Like, no, in the most exaggerated UK.
Like, literally.
Oh, no. Like, no, see, because Dubug, like, Ken is in there. And one guy was so pissed. He was like, I can't believe it. It's literally. And he'll say, literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know what I say to people? You know what I say to people who pronounce the words like that, mate? What the fuck is a lich? What the fuck is a lich?
It adds so much. It's like the punctuation. It's like you just don't. It's literally absurd. But
that's why I stick to my insults like cunt. It's just it flows off the tongue and it's got all the meaning that it needs right there in its word.
It's sharp as shit, yo. Like cunt, slash. You know what I'm saying? Like damn. But get slashed the fuck up saying that word. That being said, I'm not a big fan of customizing my fingernails and getting my nails did. That's in Forspoken.
Oh, well, shit. I was like, wait, what?
Not a fan of like I don't, you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to have in there? Yeah, that's in one of the things, like one of the leaked footages and shit like that, or footage stuff they had in there.
But the combat looks freaking
man.
To me.
I don't know, man. It could be another SJW where you have to change her pad
Stop.
and shit. You know what I mean?
Stop it now. Stop.
You said you stop it.
You gotta change her pad.
Awesome.
I can't run anymore. It's that time of the month. I gotta change my pad.
Oh God.
Excuse me. She's gonna go to the castle. Excuse me. Do you have Tampax?
Yo, but the actress is pretty cute, so fuck it.
No, she is. She's liberal as fuck, but she's
fuck her political beliefs. She's cute. Fuck it.
She gonna be like, you're gonna have to ask me to look at me. Ask me. She's gonna be like, ask me. She go, you gotta sign the contract. You must ask. May I please, mistress?
It's gonna be a similar situation to The Last of Us, mate. You know, she's gone to a world where they don't have these hygienic things, so she's just gonna grow a bush out and let that absorb it all.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those. No. It's gonna be like them Pam Grier pornos from the fucking 70s and shit.
What has this become?
I'm just saying. You know what it's gonna be. She's going into the most whitest fucking place ever. I don't see how a black chick could be accepted in the most Nordic white area. Oh, why is your skin like chocolate? Oh, I don't have chocolate back then.
Bro,
what's
but
brown?
That's why they have her freaking light skin. You know colorism in the black community.
This is why they could. This is why they couldn't have Whoopi Goldberg to be the star of that fucking game. I'm just saying, it wouldn't work. Whoopi Goldberg. What? I'm just saying, if they really wanted to appeal to my kind, they would have selected Whoopi Goldberg. Forspoken featuring Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey. And I'll be like, damn, that shit appeals to me and shit.
I've got to admit that if Oprah was in the game, that would be fucking hilarious. You can have a spell, you can have a spell, and you can have a spell.
Oprah needs to be in the game now.
She would go to these people. She'd be like, and how did that make you feel? Well,
someone needs to build Oprah in Elden Ring.
Yeah. I need it, yo. The new one too, yo. There's two versions, the fat and skinny one. You know what I mean?
So
wow.
What exactly do you mean by God of War should be like Elden Ring?
Thank you for keeping me on tag.
Yes,
a task. I apologize.
What? I don't get it, but explain.
So give me 1 second here. I got somebody text me.
Also, Brian, I see you in here. Man, that fucking profile pic got to go, man. I'm glad you reverted back to the other one. Oh, Brian at the bottom. He's in here.
What was wrong with Master Cheeks? What was wrong with the Master Cheeks?
Yeah, I thought that was cheek, but I was like, nah, it can't be cheek.
It's just showing his love for a white man's ass. That is all.
Oh no! Oh god!
Oh no! Who's that?
Yo, quickly before you start, does anyone know anything about Black Myth Wukong? Is that legit happening or not? Or
it's happening. It's a PS5 exclusive.
It's apparently been happening for a while, man.
I want that game so bad. I love Sun Wukong. Journey to the West. I love that story.
Yeah, when that game drops, man, I'm probably once a week, man. I look up and see if there's anything new. But yeah, that game's gonna be solid.
Is that the only Chinese AAA game ever?
Well, no. I want to say who's developing. Eve. Yeah, that's one. Project Eve. And what about who's developing? It's a China Hero project, right? Lost Soulside. That looks AAA.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, I didn't.
Yo, what's going on? Look, Brian.
What's up, brother?
I might as well just get it out in the open, man. See, I know people are going to be upset about the stuff that I say, and I say, callous the fuck up. Tired of you fucking brittle bitches. I said I don't want Forspoken. That's what I said. Damn it, I said it.
I do.
I don't want it either. What are you talking about?
Protagonists.
I said they're doing a whole mulatto thing where she's not quite black, but she, you know what I'm saying? She kind of in the middle where they can appease two things. If you want to appease me, get Whoopi Goldberg.
Damn. There you have it.
That's what I was saying. So you may have heard that before. Get Whoopi Goldberg, the blackest bitch ever. Get her ass in here. And have just have the hair and everything. She come in there like straight from Color Purple and shit. You know, not the View, fucking Color Purple or whatever movie she came from. And then I'll feel comfortable in this bitch allowing a Japanese developer to make a black character. That I'll be like, they know what they're doing. That's all I'm saying.
Why are there no like anime black characters, bro?
No, okay. So I'm gonna look.
What the what's up with that? Like, I only got Boondocks.
I'm gonna. That's not. I don't know. Yeah, it looks anime.
It's Piccolo, bro.
Piccolo's no. They got that. Yo, they got that fucking. They got that black Pokemon. They got that black Pokemon.
They got Mr. Popo.
where she was blurple and shit. You know what I'm saying? I was looking. I'm like, I'm pretty, I'm pretty liberal with this show. Like, she kind of racist, don't y'all think?
Bro, Mr. Popo is literally black as hell.
But here's the thing. Right? I am a believer in what do you call it? Representation.
But not forcible though.
I mean, the homie Taryn is excited for what's the game again? Forspoken.
Only because he likes their actress.
She's cute.
Which is what most of y'all motherfuckers that like this game.
Hey, don't you judge me.
The combat looks awesome. You cannot say it doesn't, bro.
It doesn't. It looks like
it
looks like a worse.
I will say it looks better than when they very first showed it.
Yes, I will say that.
We can give that credit.
So maybe they cleaning it up. But going back to my statement about representation, right? Going back to that.
Yeah.
In Japan, how many black people are there?
5.
Probably 5.
Yeah, I never left my state, so I don't know, man.
So when they make an anime, they are accurately representing the black population by having one of the motherfuckers in that world. That's all I'm saying. They are accurately representing how many people is there. It's true, though.
Is there an American military base in Japan?
It's in Korea, South Korea, but not in Japan, I don't think.
Okay, because I would assume if there's an American military base, I would assume a lot of black people are there.
Well, it ain't a whole country full of motherfuckers.
Nah, my stepdad was stationed in South Korea, but he didn't say
South Korea.
Okay.
And the same thing, and the same thing goes with America. If you're going to accurately represent a race or a creed, There's about 20% black people in this bitch. And then to be honest with you, all sitcoms, if you want to accurately represent the population, it would be full of Mexicans. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
California and Texas are. There's a lot of Mexicans in California.
There's
Texas,
more Mexicans in the state of Texas. I kid you not, or at least in Dallas. There's more Mexicans in Dallas than any other fucking race. And guess what? They getting along. They getting along just fine, man. They touching all types of booty. They got black chicks, white chicks, Asian chicks, any chick. You know, they are fucking assimilating. Like,
but bro, but do you not think if they made a black anime, every single black anime lover would watch? Like, they would do numbers, bro. Like, not just it's not trash or nothing, but it's like legitimately good. Like,
no,
everybody would watch it.
Nope.
Did anybody watch? Did anybody watch Yakuza? Or not Yakuza. Yakuza. It's the one that has Flying Lotus music on it. It dropped, I want to say, about 5 months ago. It's on Netflix.
Oh,
it's
no,
actually
no,
pretty
no.
dope.
No. See, everybody left Netflix.
Well, I haven't left.
No, but I'm playing. But here's the thing. The reason why I say no is because it takes the special out of it. See, when you see a black nigga in an anime, you be like, who that? When I play Guilty Gear and there's a black character, he is the best character in that fucking game. As a matter of fact, he's
OP.
He is the OP, and he is the last boss in there, and he looks badass. This motherfucker, whoever drew this nigga, must have took 2 years to perfect this dude. He has the dreadlocks. He don't look like he's representation. This dude look authentically black. Like a black hand drew that bitch. That's all I'm saying. Like, to me, I appreciate that shit. So if I have an anime full of black people, it just wouldn't be as special as to see one of them rare Pokemon in an anime.
Yo, okay. Last random ass question. Is Kratos, I know what you're going to say, Spartan.
Yep.
Is he black? Is he black? His voice actors are black. Is Kratos black?
Right. If you don't know the mythos behind Kratos, the only reason he is white is because he was stained with the ashes of his family.
He was olive complexion, right? But he's black in spirit. He's black in spirit. That's all I'm saying.
Both of his voice actors were black, right?
Yeah, because they wanted a powerful voice. And I say, good job. You get the job.
Yeah, they could not have picked a better voice actor than Christopher.
Right. Yeah, you get a job. You get the job. You are the man for the job because you sound like it. That's all I'm saying.
I also believe Christopher Judge would make the perfect live action Kratos too.
If he was younger, if he was going on Devil Shooter.
Have you seen Christopher Judge? Have you seen Christopher Judge, man? The guy is fucking jacked to shit.
No, I know, but his hips, man. I don't know how many bitches he was fucking, but his hips are fucked up.
That's what we've got CGI from it.
No, I'm being serious. What's funny? What's funny? For real, his hips he got 2 of his hips replaced.
Oh, they sound like he has like mother-bearing hips or something.
He was fucking chicks. That's the only reason why I would think
we've got CGI for that shit though, mate. You know, but Christopher Judge, man, live action, he would be the pinnacle. And I mean the pinnacle.
I don't think he want to shave his hair, yo. His hair too pretty for that, yo.
Aren't they making like a?
I mean, he could always go back to his Kilk days, couldn't he?
Oh yeah, he was bald.
Yeah, in Stargate.
Yo, I used to be like, that's a weird nigga. He was like, indeed. I was like, why do you have makeup on?
He was my favorite character in fucking Stargate, man. I loved him.
See, you see what I mean? That plain white bread ass show. They put a nigga in that bitch and added all sorts of chocolate flavor in that shit. And everybody remember him and nobody the fuck else. That's all I'm saying. Leave it the way it is. Keep it the way it is so it could still be special. You know what I mean? It's like if you have a wife or a girlfriend, you don't want to fuck her all the time. It's once a month and it's special. You don't cheat. Anyway, so what?
God
of War should be like Elden Ring.
I disagree with that one.
He's like, I'm just fucking with you.
Fuck your wife once a month? Nah, fuck her every day, mate. Once a day.
Wait, hold up.
Damn.
Wait a minute, White Chocolate. You said once a day? You sure about that?
Yeah,
sure. Man has a high drive.
Yo, even the last week of the month.
Yeah.
My dog.
Wait a minute. Wait, Raspberry Week? Still?
They invented condoms for a fucking reason.
Oh, Lord Jesus. We're going to go to the next topic, man. I don't want to incriminate you, man. He having sex on Raspberry Week. No, nah. Don't like it, don't want it. So God of War. What do I mean about God of War being like Elden Ring? There's been so much talk about God of War being DLC. And I thought about this long and hard about this. I just was thinking. I was mad at David Jaffe. I'm still mad at that nigga, yo. He blocked me for no reason. I don't even talk to that motherfucker, yo. But I was still mad at him. I was like, how dare he talk about that shit looking like DLC and you a developer? You know how hard it is to make these damn games? You know it takes life force when you make a vertical slice of the shit. I was mad at that motherfucker. But in the back of my mind said Evil Josh. And he was just sitting on a chair. He was like, yo, that shit do look DLC, yo. That shit looks like a cleaned up version of the first God of War. You gonna take that shit? You gonna buy it? That shit gonna be $70, G. That shit ain't gonna look right. And I was like, damn, you're right. So I started thinking about it, right? I'm like, what the fuck is DLC? Me and Ken had a conversation about DLC. And from what I remember back in the 90s, DLC was just quite simply, right? When the game was released and you just didn't have enough time, right, to put all the content that you wanted in the game, the tail end of the game would get cut off and possibly could be made as an extension of that universe or that story or that game. And that's how they would actually make the DLCs, levels that they couldn't put in the main game because they ran out of time. And then I started asking myself, well, why do you quantify DLC from a sequel? And then the answer is like how much content, it is. But then you look at The Witcher 3, and that shit, every piece of that DLC could be its own game. It's a large fucking game. So that doesn't really make sense either. And I just thought about it today. On my walk, I was walking outside, man. I take like walks to make sure that, I keep myself sane. And I was just thinking, people really want a sequel to be something new, something fresh. Let's not cap. Let's stop the cap. Nobody wants a game that looks so damn close to the first game. Nobody wants that shit. If it's the same. We ain't talking about animations. We're talking about like the same area. You know what I mean? We want like a new area. Refine mechanics and shit like that. Something that feels new. And let's stop the cap, yo. When we saw the trailers, what was so drastically new about God of War in that trailer? I mean, I'm for real. Like, okay, so Brian, what about you?
I mean, you've got to take into account, man, that in the trailer you see him on a sledge pulled by wolves, which implies the map is going to be vastly bigger than the first one.
You also was flying on a dragon too, so it could be a set piece.
It could be correct. But again, I'm one of these, man. I don't take trailers to the value, of what you see. I wait for the game to come out because that whole DLC talk, it was fucking hilarious. But my God, were people being idiots with it?
Super fucking dumb. Including that David Jaffe dude. He definitely did that shit on purpose to get some clicks.
Man, nigga
was dancing for clicks, yo, because he knows how hard it is to make these fucking games. These games are not
Did you see what? Did you see his tweet the next day?
No. What did he say?
No, he was talking about basically asking Putin to hurry up and fucking drop the Satan nuclear bomb. He was like, just fucking drop it then already.
Oh, that one. I couldn't see it. You said,
the man's lost his fucking head.
I mean,
I
think we can honestly say Jaffe's an edgelord. He says he's that drunk uncle at Thanksgiving. that nobody takes serious anymore. So, but unfortunately, Jaffe just says these drunk things every day. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I just think it's an old man just trying to live out his prime, and now that he's old, he doesn't, no obligations or restrictions. He can just says whatever comes in his mind. And I
Well,
think we all can agree that DLC shit is stupid. He knew what it meant. I mean, come on, guys, let's just keep it real.
that shit is mad offensive.
What DLC means to you doesn't mean the same thing to me. Look, okay, come on, let's just keep it real. So yeah, I think he's just a man who wants to just says what he wants, and he know that these edge things, because we know that the bots use all this shit for ammunition, which they have and which they should. Because if the shoe was reversed, if this was Starfield and we called it DLC, we'd be using it for ammunition too to piss them off.
Mm.
So I mean, yeah, but
here's the thing about David Jaffe. He's a very liberal person, like liberal.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he is very
extreme sense of the way. But here's the thing, though. Back when he was making God of War, it didn't stop Kratos from being misogynistic, right?
But it didn't say that. But remember, that was made in a different world, not the world that we live in now.
I don't care. You know how Twitter is. I can go back 15, 20 years, and you get canceled the fuck out. You can't use it. Was a different world.
Just look at what they did to James Gunn. Just look at what they did to James Gunn.
Yeah, but we know how Jaffe was. I mean,
I think he hopes that people forget what happened with him is that he has a son, I believe, that's transitioning.
Yeah,
and I mean, he don't want to see his child. He don't want to see his child uncover the fucking mysteries of old David Jaffe, because old David Jaffe, that shit wasn't a flu. But now he's different.
I mean, I don't think Sony would greenlight God of War 1 nowadays. I mean, I think we can all agree to that.
If Atreus is LGBT, yeah, they would.
No, I'm talking about the original.
They just have to censor some shit, a lot of shit.
Everything. If Kratos was LGBT, yeah, they would. If he was bisexual, yeah, they would.
Well, of course, if Kratos was black and gay, he would be the man.
Kratos is based on a Greek myth, mate, so the chances are he was shagging guys anyways.
This is true.
I
owe you nothing.
Yeah. My thing is, what do you do to not make it look like a DLC? Like, what do you do? It's based on what is it? Nordic mythology, Norse mythology. Everything is fucking ice, and everything's gonna look the same. Like, how many different variations of environment do you have? Like,
that's precisely you got the 9 realms. That's precisely why I say it should be like Elden Ring. Give Kratos a horse in the open world, yo. You got a fucking sequel. That's it. Close it. You're good. Think you got me growing up.
And we all know Sony's MO. Once they're ready to show us this game, they're going to do a state of play. They're going to give us 15, 20 minutes of gameplay. And we're going to be blown away, regardless if you didn't think the trailer was impressive or not. I thought the trailer was fine.
It was fine, but not impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. With DLC, no, come on. We know this game is going to be at least 40, 50 hours. That's one hell of a DLC to be 40 or 50 hours.
So, but let me be on some serious tip, right? I really do think that if they make the sequel, right, in my head, because he goes to the dwarf realm, in my head, it'd be nice to see, an actual town, an open world. It was already open as it is, but an open world with people and a hustle and bustle and and stuff like that, to give it more of a fresh feeling to it. And maybe, like White Chocolate said, in order for you to to traverse over the Lake of the Nine, since it's frozen over, you have that shit where you can have a whistle, right, like Torrid, and you whistle, and it's like, where? They think like, whoosh, and then you jump in the sled and you go, yeah, or Kratos' voice, yeah.
I think you should really look into a job that's for sound effects, man. Those are some really realistic sound effects. Top quality.
Hey, I had a God of War question for you guys. So you can know like how the previous games had like a whole bunch of weapons and shit. Do you like the new approach where there's like 2, 3? Like, I like to have a whole bunch of shit. Like, I love weapons. That's why I like Devil May Cry. Like, all types of games where I can just come at it a different bunch of ways. That's how I do. But I wasn't really much of a fan of just the axe and the damn whatever those are called, Olympus chains or whatever. But
I think we'll see a
what do
few
you
more
guys
new
think?
weapons. I think we'll see a few more new weapons.
So in the 2018 game, then, did no one actually find the gauntlets of Olympus?
I didn't. No.
No.
What was it? Was he punched?
Yeah, it's two big like gloves made with lion heads on them. It was just an extra hidden weapon in the game. That's all.
Oh, like the Damien Septus from God of War 3.
Yeah.
God of War 3? Man, bro, that was one of my favorites, bro. I love God of War 3.
But wouldn't it be cool though? No, to answer your question, let's be for real. Did you guys use the different weapons though? Did you guys use it? Like when you guys default to the Blades of Chaos and be like, fuck it.
The only weapon I have ever used in the original God of Wars was the Blades of Chaos, and I tend to favour the Leviathan axe more in the 2018.
Right.
Interesting.
But that's the developer's fault though, for not making it more, putting more work into the other weapons. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, just maybe. See, I don't like it when you have to kind of like, I think that every weapon should get the job done. When you gotta like mix and match just the, you know what I mean, different enemy types, you can only use this. I don't like that kind of gameplay like that, because it's like, what happened if I don't like this weapon and now I'm forced to use it because, you know what I'm saying? I have no choice. I don't like that. You know, but they made it in the past. Like God of War 2, he had like a spear and he would do like this fury jab or whatever the case is.
Oh, it's Spartan Rage.
Yeah, so he would do stuff like that. But if they really put their all into it, like straight up from software type all, where these weapons have like these hidden stats and stuff like that, where you have to like, you know, blunt force or slash force, or certain enemies would be, you know, kind of weak to it or whatever the case is, then I feel like it could be a viable option to make it like you have different Kratos builds, you know what I'm saying? But because of the axe being a part of his wife, it has some sort of a what do you call it? Some value to it. You know what I'm saying? It's his weapon. You know. So I don't know how that would work.
I think it'd work better in God of War because obviously they've gone for that Norse aspect of things. I reckon if they were going to do something like that, they could maybe use runes and like etchings and stuff like that, you know, for like the specific power up. So like a certain rune will give you X amount of bleed and so on and so forth. You know, I reckon it'd work a bit better that way because again, it kind of ties in with the mythology of the Norse religion.
Right. Or better yet, the only time you use the axe, right? If you like, the only time you're forced to use the axe is maybe for puzzle elements. You know what I mean? And then for combat, you have the freedom to do whatever they give you. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he's going to have Mjolnir for sure. But going back to what I was saying, though, how would you guys feel about an open world day and night cycle Witcher type 5 God of War?
I think honestly we're about to get that, to be honest with you. And I think this game is probably going to push over 60 hours. So it ain't DLC for one. As far as the weapons go, the director this time around for this game is actually the combat director the combat director from the previous God of War game. So I have full, I believe that the combat skills in this game is going to be bar none than what we've gotten the last God of War. Even you can even look at that trailer and look that Kratos is using his shield a lot more for more powerful attacks other than parrying and blocking, as well as the aerial attacks of like basically pulling down enemies after you knock them in the air. If we get like these large scale boss battles, right? Where forgive me, I don't remember the name of the god that I kind of reference like Thor, right? The Ragnarok movie. where there was like that lava god. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah, thank you. Now let's say that you fight him, right? And you defeat him, then I personally believe that you should be able to imbue not just the blades of chaos because they already have fire to them, but whatever elements that you can get from that god. Once you defeat a boss, that you can probably consume some of their energy or something, or maybe their element, right? So I think that we will probably get something like that, whether it be for Kratos or Atreus. I think one of the two, I think, would open up the combat. But I think, to be completely honest with you, like you're saying, I think we will get an open world game. I don't think it'll be near as linear as like the previous one. We'll still get the one shot, of course, but I think we're going to be able to open up everything. And on top of that, the means of fast travel, right? I think it's going to come into play a lot just because of the core mechanics of the PlayStation 5 and, of course, the popular SSD that's in there. I think we're going to see a way of traversing and moving to different areas of the map a lot quicker. That whole being transported and going through that realm and going through that warp hole, I think it's going to be non-existent this time around, to be honest with you.
I think we're still going to be able to travel to like the different realms and stuff. But I think when it comes to the fast travel and stuff like that, that's going to be more on Atreus' side, because obviously, spoilers for those who haven't, know the story. But obviously, Atreus is Loki, and Loki is a master manipulator. He can shapeshift and he can teleport wherever the fuck he wants when he wants. So I think the fast travel aspect will come more from Atreus, but I would prefer, rather than it being open world, I would much rather it be co-op.
So here's what I think, right? I do honestly think that this game is going to be open world for sure. I think that's one of the reasons why it's taken so long. One, and number two, I feel that I know this was supposed to be a trilogy, but because of Corey wanted to work on another game and he didn't want to spend another 4 to 5 years on this game, they combined the second and third games. So what if this is going to be a massive game? I'm sure they cut some things off storyline wise, and who knows what's going to be. Maybe to clean things up, like the main game is going to be what it is, and then the other realms are going to be DLC. You know what I'm saying? That you can go into, but I think it's going to have complete with towns and all sorts of things. And that's what I mean. People are going to recognize God of War Ragnarok, right, as a true sequel if it does something new, and the open world aspect would be something new. I hate to keep trying to say every game should be open world, but them shit sell. They sell crazy. Don't get mad at me like, everybody's supposed to open world for you. Well, those motherfuckers are selling. But I do think that's going to happen. They're going to have complete with towns. If you look at the trailer and look at it again, you'll see that they have towns. And I sincerely doubt that these people are just window dressing. You know what I mean? That you're just there just to be there. I think they're going to be quest givers and shit like that. That's what I believe.
Do you mean like this game that's coming up, like Ragnarok, is going to be open world, or eventually they're going to have an open world?
No, I think this one is hiding something huge.
Now, you see, the thing that I think they're hiding is time travel.
Well, that's for storyline things, but gameplay wise. And here's another thing that comes up. And now some people don't know too much about game engines, right? To prove my point, right? Is anyone familiar with Game Boy Advance?
Not specs aspects, no.
You know what kind of games that system could do, right? Is mostly 2D games.
Yeah.
Like it was not a 3D type game thing. You know what I'm saying? And somehow they were able to make the original Tomb Raider that was for the PlayStation 1 and the Saturn run on a much worse spec system that is the Game Boy Advance. It's 3D and everything.
Yeah, I think I saw the video to that actually.
Yeah, you want to know how they were able to do it? Was careful fucking programming. So when we were playing God of War 2018, they had a lot of areas where it was loading, and it would hide the loading through running in circles with the rims between or whatever the case is. They had shit like that, right? or you were opening something up and it was loading behind the scenes to keep the fidelity of the game. And eventually they just got better, at rendering the fucking game, rendering it, you know. I think that's the new technology going to be there. You remember how people said that the developers came out and said that at the graphical fidelity of Horizon Zero Dawn, they could not add flying at all. They said it was a loading issue. There was no way for them to do it. And they were accurate. They were right by saying that. But software actually evolves as well, too. You get better compression techniques. Who would have thought that Ghost of Tsushima almost had no loading times? You know what I mean? On a mechanical hard drive. That was the PS4. And old hardware. Somehow they were able to evolve the technology to allow for very minimal loading and flying with a game that looks better than the original Horizon. Not only did they make it look better, but you can fly and the image is more stable without the pop-in that we would normally see. So I'm saying all of this is, I think because you're still on the PS4, don't forget. I'm saying all of this shit because it's possible that they will be able to do something like that, but it's technology that they're evolving. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I agree with you. I'm still shocked and blown away by how fast Ghost of Tsushima loaded up on the PS4. Like, even to this day. And even, what is it, like split seconds more on the PS5 after Director's Cut? I think, we'll definitely see non-existent loading on God of War Ragnarok.
I don't think there will be like no loading times, but I do feel like the streaming capabilities will allow for an open world thing. I think when it goes to small levels, because like even Elden Ring, right? If you played that, the open world is the open world, right? But when you jump from place to place, you will see a loading progression bar, So there's that too. That's what I believe. But that's what I mean though. I mean personally, they need to do something pretty drastic for people to really put some spec on their name. You know what I mean? You were going to say something, Matt?
No, I was just going to say, like, with Elden Ring, we had that, right, in an open world. But we're talking about, like, a first party that normally takes full advantage of, like, the hardware, right? Nothing to take away from software. I think when we get that from software PS5 exclusive next, we may see, like, their loading, go away to the wayside, whatever they're going to build. But I think that when it comes to Sony Santa Monica, I mean, they are going to have hands-on with the hardware, you know what I mean, as a first party to be able to benefit from those not a lot of screens. So I go with that.
What about you, White Chocolate? What do you think? What is your ideal God of War? I'm kind of curious, and I'm going to ask Champs, and then we can close this out. What is your take on God of War?
My ideal God of War would be to like go back to its roots, mate. Being the blood and the gore, and and the just the everything explicit like it used to be. Combat wise, I do prefer the combat in the style of 2018's God of War. It just seems smoother and yeah. I'd prefer to keep Kratos as the main character, but unfortunately, I do believe that after Ragnarok, he is going to either be killed off or be stepped down as a side character. That's just my opinion, mate. That's just my opinion, because I genuinely think that Kratos now. I mean, how many God of War games are there now? About fucking hours.
He's a fucking he's immortal at his highest degree, but I think that the trope of killing them and then he somehow fucking reinstantiates himself somehow is kind of getting old.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, obviously, in the last game before 2018, obviously he killed all the Greek gods, and then he's shown up in like the Nordic areas, and now he's killing all of them gods and all this shit. And I just thought, like, the one thing that I didn't like about God of War 2018 was how much calmer he seemed. You know, whereas in the older games, everything was like, he was just angry all the fucking time. You know, and yet you always had that aspect of like, well, I get why he's angry, but come on, mate, calm it down a touch. You didn't need to rip him in half, did you? You know what I mean? And in this one, you just don't get that same feeling from the 2018 game. And I'd love for him to go back to that style, man, because the graphics that we've got today, that shit could look so damn fucking good. And I mean so damn good.
Well, I mean, I personally love the anger that he. I mean, I love the violence. That's what I liked. That was fucking cool, man. Like the way that he ripped somebody in half. Absolutely, man. You know,
that's I mean, I guess in that case, then would you say that because you like the direction of Kratos now is he is trying to, I guess, manage his emotions as much as he can to be a good example for his kid or whatever, like father-son thing.
He's basically trying to redeem his past grievances, you know. He's trying to show to Atreus, look, you can be angry, just don't do that.
Right. So
channel it.
It's definitely I wouldn't say a stark contrast, but it's watered down as far as like his aggression and stuff like that. Like I just don't want to see him go, bro. Like I don't. Like it's like I understand like Master Chief for Xbox, like he's just a mask. Like you can put anybody behind the suit, but like Kratos, like I don't want to see him go because I know eventually we may have to, especially when the next PlayStation comes and everything. But kind of like how Gamecast was saying, like he's technically, and can he even die? Like, I mean, isn't he like the GOAT, basically?
I think he can die.
That would suck, bro. Like, then who would be the God of War for the PS6? Like, who are we playing?
He couldn't die until he killed Zeus.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. I don't want to. Like, cause what will we do after this? Let's say he conquers this realm. Where is he going? To Egypt? He's gonna fight Ra and Osiris.
You see, I really don't want him to do an Egypt arc. I'd rather him go to like China and work with like Chinese or Japanese mythology. It just fit better with Kratos, you know, because like the Japanese gods, they're all about, you know, vengeance and karma and shit like that. And it just seems like it'd fit in with Kratos' anger and his inability to accept other people. You know, I just really think. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say at that point, so he's older. I don't know what age he is now. Someone else may know. But by that time, he'll be a completely gray-haired dude. Like, I'm not saying he can't be a, boss-ass gray-haired dude. But, like, damn. Like, I don't know what they would do after this is what I'm saying. No, what will you do after this? I don't know.
Well, everyone seems to be going down that route of what you said, you know, they're going down the Egyptian route. But I genuinely think that the Egyptian mythology, it's been overdone, not just in games, but in films, in comics, in near enough everything.
I don't think he would do well in China because his penises would be too big. But I mean, personally,
well, that's when them cute Asian women make that cute face, man.
Bro,
they'd be like,
that would be dope. Like, there are some cool Chinese guys, bro. And he would fight Sun Wukong. Holy shit.
He would need to do that mustache thing that they do in China.
Yeah.
It would be that long mustache. He had to shave the beard and it'd be that long mustache.
So what? He would have a son in China now? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Maybe somebody kidnap him. Somebody kidnap Atreus.
I think that the way that they're going to do it, move him on to his next venture is basically Tiri. Tiri's not going to die. He's not going to be killed. He's going to be the reason that Kratos is removed from the realm that he's in, and why he moves to a different realm.
Say that one more time.
Tiri, you know, the god, the giant. Yeah. He's basically if you looked into the lore of 2018's game. Tiri, obviously, Jotunheim, the gate was destroyed, and Tyrion was the only one who could get to and from it. And that's because he's able to, one, not only travel through time, but he's also able to alter the dimension that he is present in at that time. So I think that there will be a battle between Kratos and Tiri, but it's going to end abruptly because Tiri will realize that he can't win, so he'll just send him off to another land.
Yeah, Kratos is an anomaly because Kratos he disrupts. You know what I'm saying? Like with Kratos, Fimbulwinter actually happened way earlier because of him. You know, he alters things.
Yeah. But okay, what about this? Like, what if they just freaking stop making them after the PS5, and then maybe like, I don't know, like, or maybe they reboot it like from God of War original and bring all the PS2 and 3 games to the PS6 or whatever it's going to be called. Like I don't know. Like I just don't want to see him. I don't want to see him fall from grace, bro. Like God of War has had a long, strong running, like 3 generations. So like I don't want to see it like become shit and basically become a meme. Like look at Halo Infinite. It's a meme now, bro. Like they've ruined Halo. And it's just like, I don't want God of War to eventually become the Halo Infinite when it's on PS6 and it's just trash. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if they did something like that, then the chances are, you know, they'd have to, like, if they just stopped God of War completely, they would have to bring something else out to replace it, man. Whether it be, you know, like similar style games like Heavenly Sword. You know, if we got a remaster or a sequel to that, or sorry, not sequel, DLC. You know, if they do get rid of it, they're going to have to replace it with something that fits the merit. And there's not many games out there that fit that merit at the minute, unfortunately.
Who made Heavenly Sword? Was it Ninja Theory or was it Santa Monica?
I don't know.
Ninja Theory.
So wasn't Hellblade like a spiritual successor to Heavenly Sword, or was they just kind of playing on words?
No, I think that the spiritual successor was what was the fucking game that they made with the other redhead girl?
I thought it was Hellblade, bro. I guess not. I guess I'm way the fuck off.
No. I don't know what's going on with that one. Heavenly Sword. Enslave, yeah. They were.
You can look at Hellblade and look at Heavenly Sword. What was her name? Oh my goodness.
Nariko.
Yeah,
Nariko.
Her sister, right, kind of looks like old girl from Senua from Senua Sacrifice. So I could see like they probably used some of those assets that they created with Nariko's sister, but it's not her by any means. But you can definitely tell the reference. But on the topic of God of War, right? You know, there was a theory going around on 2018 about the world serpent, right, in Kratos. Did you guys ever hear about that? That they are, so there's like similarities, right? Even down to like they were referencing like the world serpent's serpent scales, and also has like a tattoo of like the Omega icon, which is the Kratos symbol, right? And so a lot of people were referencing, like, now granted, Corey, phenomenal man that he is, in writing the story, is not keeping like a full mythology of the Norse mythology of what we know as the world serpent and Thor. We know that there's a huge battle, and that's what the outcome's going to be. But I can't help but shake this theory because in actual Norse mythology, the world serpent is Loki's son, right? And so is Trunir, which is another one of Loki's sons.
No, Ed, you sound kind of weird. Your mic is a little weird.
How's it sound now?
And you still sound like you're in a toilet bowl.
I'm outside. That's probably why.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Damn. My bad. But no, in reference, and I only say this, like, if this is true as far as, like, the world serpent goes in Kratos, if there's similarities, and even C-Bomb had chocolate reference earlier about, like, time travel, right? And if you remember the mural, and I can't shake this idea, like, the mural at the end of the game shows Kratos, or at least show somebody with the serpent coming out of their mouth. So, whatever that leads to. But I honestly think if it's going to be another God of War, which ain't going to be until like maybe 3 or 4 years after this one, when we'll get another one, I don't think it's going to be Kratos, the lead. I think it's going to be Atreus. That's going to be the next founding person to be the next God of War.
So what the fuck? Wait a minute. All right, so I haven't beat God of War 2018. I took a hiatus from gaming, but I kept up with the news. Someone said Atreus is fucking Loki. Are you serious?
Yeah, Atreus is Loki.
We ruined it for him. Yes, he's Loki.
Okay, so how is Loki going to be the God of War then? Or is he in the...
the thing is with Loki is not just the god of mischief. Is being referred to as a god of a lot of things, including the god of love, believe it or not. I don't know how they'd work around it, but obviously, just look at the Greek mythology. Kratos isn't the actual god of war. Ares is.
Oh yeah, I guess.
So
how is he Kratos' son, or is he not? Like, someone spoil it for me. Like, what the? Did he have sex with an ice giant? The fuck? Like,
so this is what I'm saying. Like, when Kratos arrived in that world, it fucked a lot of things up. He met Freya, which is the mother of Loki, I guess.
Yeah, the mother of Atreus, the mother of Atreus, and the mother of Balder.
Okay.
And if that's the implication, like she's a giant too, Faye.
What the fuck?
Not to mention
Freya. Freya's a giant.
Freya, yeah, she's a giant.
So is Freya dead?
Freya's a Valkyrie, mate. Freya's a Valkyrie.
No, that's Freya. Faye.
Faye.
Yeah. My bad. I'm getting my mythology mixed up.
The woman that they burnt in the beginning, or cremated, I should say. I shouldn't say burnt. That was uncouth.
Shit.
Yeah.
I hate all of you. You spoiled everything.
A little. To anyone who has played the 2018 game, who thinks that Mimir is Odin?
I don't even
know. Say it again.
Who's believes the theory that Mimir is Odin?
Man, dude, I'm with you. I'm so with you. I and all.
Because even the two dwarfs, Brock and Sindri, they were talking some really weird shit whenever Odin and Tyri got brought up at in God of War 2018. They talked some serious weird shit. Like, why did them two fall out? Yeah, them two fell out, in my opinion, because Odin tricked them into trapping Tyri in wherever he's trapped, and that's why them two fell out. And Mimir has been posing as a severed head on a tree near the gates of Jotunheim to just to be a spy, because Mimir's got an eye missing, exactly like Odin. He's constantly followed by two crows, like Odin.
Well, he got both eyes down, but here's the thing. One of the mysteries of the game, when Atreus gets sick, someone blew the horn for the world serpent, and they never say who did it or why. It was just like this lore. It was just like, oh, someone called the world serpent, and then they just continued on like nothing happened. It was never answered.
Look, so Odin never pops up at the end of God of War 2018?
Nope.
What the fuck? Man, bro, I can't even remember where I was at when I got that game, bro.
So when you see the game, right? Yeah. When you see the game, the trailer, and people will say that, oh, they are leaking too much. So much of that shit, they probably could leak it or they're saying too much within the trailer. And the reason why they can do that is because the game is way more than what you think it is. Right. But it's supposed to be 2 and 3. That's supposed to be 2 and 3.
How is he in a different realm? Is what I've never understood. Does it explain it later in the game?
How is you beat God of War 3, right?
Yeah. Because I remember he stabbed himself at the end of 3, and then they showed the scene again, and he's not there. I was like, okay, maybe I thought he was dead for sure.
No, but think about it. What's her name? Athena. She got killed too, but she was something with the gods. They must have levels to that shit. Athena ascended.
So there's all the gods are kind of respective of their own universes, but they kind of are connected in a way or something.
The best way I could explain it would be, imagine each of the gods has their own unique hub world.
Yeah.
That'd be literally the only way I can think to explain it.
But
Faye found Kratos.
Found him? Where the fuck?
Okay, question: are you planning on playing this game at some point? You haven't played it yet, right?
I played 2018. I'm in I can't fucking remember, bro. I was just between 3 different games at one point, and I just gave up. I was playing Death Stranding, God of War, and then I just fucking stopped.
Well, for 2018 God of War, did you come up against the Dark Elves?
No. I met the lady. I met the chick with the big ass turtle house.
So basically, you're about a quarter of the way through the game.
That's where I'm at. That's where I was at, and I think I don't know what the fuck after that.
Do you plan on playing it? Because I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm more I'm just so damn busy now, bro. I just keep up with the news. That's why I'm in here. I just like to talk.
I got you. Because I want to bring up something, but I don't want to ruin it if you're going to plan on playing.
No.
It's not huge. Fuck, and I don't even know if they're going to go any further.
Atreus is low-key. There's nothing else to spoil. Might as well.
That's true. That's true. But I will say this. When you end up in, what is it, Bethlehem? The soul place, right? You guys remember that aspect, and you remember who Kratos saw in a realm where Mimir told him not to go, right? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm referencing?
Yeah. Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally been 2.5 years since I have played the game.
It was Zeus. It was Zeus though, but that realm was supposed to is supposed to torment you. So
that is going to be one of the realms in this next game. We haven't seen. I have an idea. I have a theory that
Helheim.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's the place. You're right. That is the place. I have a theory. One of the things we have not seen Odin, right? With the exception of what
his those green birds all over.
Right, we haven't seen him in physical form though, right? And Mimir kind of told Kratos what happened to his dad and why he is there, right? And who's watching over him. I think, man, this family tree shit is about to get really real in this next game. I truly believe, because I don't think I think we're going to see Zeus again, personally. I think there will be that conversation, or Atreus is going to meet Zeus for the first time, and which is going to open up a whole bunch of shit that Kratos did. Whatever this is going to get.
That will likely come into play with the time travel aspects.
Yep.
See, but here's the thing. Kratos. Atreus is a smart boy.
Yeah.
Remember when he saw Kratos beat the shit out of his father, he interrupted that vision. Was like, "We gotta go." And then Kratos was like, "Did you see me with a man?" He was like, "What man?" Clearly, he saw it. He's like, "I didn't see anything." He was trying to spare his father's feelings.
Yeah. Okay, that's where I'm at. Do you see that screenshot? That was the last fucking. I was streaming it, and then I don't know if you can tell, but I'm
trying to figure out where that is.
Okay, yep. I see.
I just walked into this. It opened up different portals and shit, and then
he's at the tree that gets him to certain realms.
Oh, so you're like, shit, man. What are you, like a fourth ender game?
Yeah. That legit on my YouTube says 2 years ago. That was the last thing I ever recorded. That and like when Modern Warfare came out, I was on Modern Warfare hard. But that was like the last game I legit played. And I was playing a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn. And that was it, bro. I gave my PS4 Pro to my little brother, and I just kept up with the news.
I got you. Do you plan on playing it or getting an opportunity to play it again before Ragnarok drop?
Bro, if I can, yeah, man. But I just like to keep up with the news now. Like, I don't really play it as much. So I just come in here and just listen to whatever the hell y'all are talking about. I mean, honestly. But okay. Yeah, probably.
See,
yeah, Sony, there's just like some set pieces I believe that we're about to really get in this next game.
Sony makes, right, story mode for guys like Champ.
Hell yeah. But I'm just, bro, in and out. Quickly.
Go ahead and play that story mode real quick. You know what I'm saying? Put it on story difficulty and just go through it so you can get a brief synopsis and kind of experience the game a bit. You know what I'm saying? And then you can be up to speed or whatever the case is. Look, you don't got nothing to fucking prove to nobody. If you don't have the time for it, it's fine. Or whatever the case is.
I will give you props there though, mate, for actually telling him to play the game on the lowest difficulty rather than like, just go watch it on YouTube.
Bro, straight up, I like the story, bro. At this point, I used to be gameplay like crazy, but this point, bro, I am just story. That's it. If it doesn't, that's why I don't really like Elden Ring. I'm like, the fuck is this? Like,
they got story.
What's going on with this game? Like, I don't know.
They got story. You just got to use your imagination.
You got to create your own story, I guess. I don't know.
You got a whole bunch of story. See, that's why. Actually, I'm a fan. Like, okay, so I'm gonna show my age before we close out. Right, I was a big fan of this sitcom back in the 80s/90s. Right, it was called Small Wonder. It was the most ridiculous fucking sitcom I've ever seen. It was a robotics engineer, and he did like his own project, right, to make AI. And this AI, he put it into like a little girl, like the avatar of a little girl. So he was using the company's money to do that, but it was like a sitcom thing. And I watched that shit. I was so enamored with this fucking show because I have an affinity for like robots and technology and AI and shit like that. It was a really cool show because you would see it ran for 5 seasons. And each season, he would give this android basically more humanoid abilities, like the ability to eat and self-sustain and shit like that. And it wasn't able to talk. It would talk in a monotone way unless it learned to fucking a phrase, and then it would sound regular. So they'd be like the robot or what do you call it? Android? Her name was Vicky, which is what do you call it? What do you call those words that it's basically an abbreviated, it's like what do you call it, like it was, her name was acronym. Yes, it was it was an acronym, voice input child identikit is what they called it. So her name was Vicky, and they were like, hey Vicky, could you pick that up? And she'd be like, pick that up, and she would say it in such a way, but like after over the season she would start talking regular, like she would like, oh, you said this, and she would like repeat it or whatever case is. But anyway, the reason why I mention this is because I am such a big fan of Horizon Zero Dawn and its AI components and shit like that.
Hell yeah.
Horizon is different though, because Horizon is such a large video game. I would say you need to find the lore for that one. That ain't no joke. There's too much shit to really go on because they span 1,000 years. The lore is 1,000 years.
God damn.
So basically, it started off in, I think it was in 2013 is when the game's lore kind of starts. You know what I'm saying? And you is a business guy, and then there was a couple of geniuses that advanced AI. And that AI led to the fall of humanity, but not in a direct way. There's some other things that they're not telling us. So essentially, they were going through their own war, and the end of the civilization, our world, our generation, was 2064. So with greed and everything like that, they were use AI to try to speed up the process of fixing the biosphere that we fucked up. You know what I mean? Global warming and shit like that. And the AI had to be smart enough to do certain things. So part of the story is an AI that went rogue once it realized itself. You know what I'm saying? And it left the servers and they couldn't find it. You know what I'm saying? And they just kind of like swept it under the rug, but they still had other AI. They're talking about like they made these because people was bitching and shit. They were like, "Oh my gosh, look at what war does to people," because we were still doing war and shit. It's killing all these people. So this guy named Theodore, what is it named? Theodore Farrell. He created these machines that will do the war for us, right? And these machines were able to basically repair themselves, give itself some energy on the field without human intervention. And eventually, it was basically eating shit to give itself energy and replicating to the point where we couldn't stop it, and it killed everything by 2064. So, and during that time, they basically said that we kind of fucked ourselves over. Let's give the new humanity a chance. So basically, they created these pies underground that would basically, after the world was eaten up by the fucking machines for whatever reason, they never tell us, it will basically be governed by a new AI that would govern, like basically re-terraform the earth and rewild it and populate it with humans. And that's how that was. So like that storyline is way deeper than what it's led out to be. So it's pretty crazy. It's crazy shit. That one I wouldn't suggest you play on story mode necessarily. It's just too much going on. I mean, you could play it and get the brief synopsis of it, but
I can link you with a full timeline of Horizon Zero Dawn and when it all started back in 2013, all the way up to 3020.
Y'all need to drop me your fucking YouTubes if you stream, because I have anything I can multitask, bro. I can do that. I can watch the stream. I can go Google some shit. But if it's like sit down and do it, like the last 2 years, hell no. I actually moved to Texas, bro. My rent is $1,600. I have to work all the damn time.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait the fuck a minute. Hold up. What part of Texas?
I live in near, I don't know if you know where like Frisco, Plano is, but it's kind of right outside of Dallas.
And is that expensive in Dallas? That fucking
shit, bro. You got to think about all these California people moved here. Everybody's fucking moving here. So it's up in the price. They're buying up all this real estate and charging California prices, basically. So it's like, I mean, I think I'm leaving here, bro. I don't think I'm gonna stay here any longer. Like, it's getting crazy. Everything's going up, especially after COVID. It's not the same. It's not the same as it was like 2019, 2018. So like 2015, bro, all the way up to then, I was paying like $1,000, straight up $1,000 for 2 bedrooms. That's not the case now. Like, not for the place I lived in. So yeah, that I had to sell my PlayStation, bro. I was just, give it to my brother. I was like, hell nah.
Do you have a PlayStation? You have a PS5 now?
No, I can't find them. Like, they're not here. And I'm not going to pay $800 on eBay to go get one. Hell no. I'll wait.
Damn. So this seems to be the story for everybody. I get that shit.
I've linked the full timeline for Horizon up at the top.
Bet. Yeah, my homeboy, bro, he paid $700 for 2 of them. And he had to go. He lives in Louisiana. He had to go get 2 PlayStation 5s from Oklahoma. I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. I was like, nah, man, I can't do it. Not yet. Maybe like later this year or next year I'll get one.
I'm going to actually save this as soon as I'm done with this podcast. I'm gonna read this shit.
Like it goes into detail, mate. It tells you where Sobek's date of birth. It tells you the first actual animal species that went extinct, which was, if I recall, was the bears. So it goes into a lot of detail on the timeline and how things unfold within the Zero Dawn universe.
I know Aloy was born. April 4th. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand
my birthday.
Oh, you're April 5th-er.
I'm an April 3rd, mate. I'm an April 3rd.
Oh, the day after. I read it wrong.
Holy shit! This goes deep into the future.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
Zero Dawn itself, the actual game, is set in 3020.
Lord have mercy, bro. I never knew this. Does that say 6,000? What the fuck?
Where you see 6,000?
64th century? The fuck? The latest projected time of which Cyan will be able to maintain stability for the Yellowstone caldera. Yellowstone? So like the Yellowstone fucking blow up the world or some shit? I don't know.
They had to use AI to find a way to stop it from fucking up that whole area. And they did.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So it goes with us and shit like that, too. Like, the amount of dialogue that's in the game, like all of the data points, is like 4 hours.
Bro, I know y'all were explaining it to me, and it had some weird ass shit going on. I was like, wait, I did not know Horizon was that damn deep. Like, damn, that's freaking crazy.
Yeah, it's
like
fucking
space,
crazy.
Like some space shit. Like what the fuck? Like some people from outer space get involved and stuff. Like what the fuck? That's crazy.
People don't understand that, and some people in here didn't finish the game, so just be careful. But people don't understand that Horizon is a extreme sci-fi game. Just because you see primitive people.
Yeah, like Star Wars. It should be a TV show, bro.
Like Star Wars, and a lot of things wouldn't make like if you play the fourth one, you play Forbidden West, it'll make you feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense, but all of the stuff that they talk about is backed by science, like hardcore. So they don't play around.
So you think they're gonna do the whole television movie thing with Horizon, like how they're doing with Last of Us and Twisted Metal and all of that?
I believe so. They can. This is their own personal. You know what I mean? This is their own personal like Star Wars. So that's how I look at it.
On the cool, yeah, you're right. I mean, I think Assassin's Creed. I thought Assassin's Creed would work, but what's up?
I thought you had a PS5 and 4 and shit like that. Damn, I feel you.
I just got a Pro, bro. Well, I had the Pro. I gave it to my brother.
I'm planning on moving to Florida. I was telling that to one of the people that follow me. So I'm thinking about doing that shit. And Florida? I don't know. Yeah, that's my shit.
Holy shit.
I'm getting the fuck out of this shit, yo. Currently I'm in New Jersey. I can't stand this fucking place. I hate it.
Bro, just stay focused, man, because there's a lot of beautiful ass females in Florida. And yeah, that shit gets crazy.
No, I ain't going to Miami. That's the thing. I know better than that because there's a lot of AIDS in Miami.
So, no, dude. No, my ex used to live in Fort Lauderdale. So she's Puerto Rican, but she's cute as fuck. But there's a lot of them, bro. A lot of like those Cubans, Puerto Ricans type shit. Yeah, it's different. Definitely different from here. It's not like Texas at all or like Georgia.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Like I said, all of it's good. All of it's good shit. I'm so mad at Brian with that fucking ass shot, man. Get that shit out of here. Anyway, I'm gonna close this shit out. And get myself prepared for my gaming night. But thank you guys for showing up. I really appreciate it. I didn't think that I was going to get 2 hours and a half of a fucking show out of these two speculatory subjects, but here we are.
Good shit.
But thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate that shit, and I'm gonna get into this lore actually.
Same.
I'm ending it, white chocolate.
Peace out, guys.
Anyway, all right, guys.